think it's majority egos, eh? I have to say that. Like, it is majority egos. Like, the human ego within itself is fucked up. If you give anyone, doesn't matter how good of a person they are, you give them enough power, they'll be corrupted by that power. Sorry, but we're a weak species when it comes to that. You know? We can talk a lot, and we can say we won't do it, but every motherfucker in the past has always proven us wrong.
But do you know what? Every motherfucker in the past has operated from a deeply embedded ideology.
Yeah, but like sometimes some of those ideologies were good.
Yeah.
You
but
know what
really,
I mean?
a bit
Nothing's good though. Nothing's good. And it really shits me. Like nothing's like you can't do it. Like you can't like you can get the most empathetic person in the whole world and they're gonna have to do some fucked up shit just to keep the whole world going.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? And then eventually you get poisoned by power. Slowly but surely. It's like you're just on an IV drip bar.
Do you know what
drip
it's
of
like?
power.
Do you know what it's like? Queen Daenerys at the end of Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
she was
yeah, when
good.
she went around
She
and
was
just
good
started
all the
killing
way
all those
through.
fuckers.
She wanted, to get people out of slavery, yada, yada, yada.
The greed got to her head.
And then in the very, very end,
Yeah.
when she got all the power, she turned bad.
Yeah. She got what was coming to her. Jon Snow did. The
Yeah,
right
yeah,
thing.
I know. Good on you, Jon
But
Snow.
then he didn't. Then he didn't even really want the power. Anyway, who'd they end up giving it to? His brother. They gave it to his brother.
Bran.
Bran.
Yeah.
The bloke who sees
But
everything.
you know what's crazy about Game of Thrones? I reckon it's one of the best series ever made. Because
Have you watched the new one?
House of Dragon, yeah.
You have?
I've watched the first season.
I haven't seen it.
It's so good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's genius because you have exactly, like you said, all these people in different places with a different agenda and governed by their ego. But they have different sources of, like, let's say, for an example, Stannis. Stannis.
Stannis. I thought you were saying status. Yeah, Stannis.
In the show, he was all about ego, all about the throne is like my birthright, whatever. I'm the brother of the ex-king, whatever. And then he gets this witch, right? And she tells him, like, she plays on his ego. You are the one who was promised. You are going to take the throne. You are going to destroy this army. He ends up getting screwed. But what I'm saying is that I reckon ego, intuition, and ideological...
Something pulling the strings.
Something pulling the strings, exactly.
Yeah.
And it preys, it's very fluid because whatever it is, it preys on that person's individual desire. But it just empowers it. And it makes it like that song that you just showed us, I'm a fucking humanoid, blah, 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 blah. You can feel that there's energy behind that, right?
There was a lot of energy behind that.
It's a lot of
and
energy.
if you listen to the rest of that song, like you should, it's a great song. Like you got hectic energy in it,
but you can feel that guy's spirit is inflated and something's inflating it, right? Now, obviously that's just art. But think of, you have all these different leaders with real power.
Yeah.
And they all have that balloon of inflatable...
Like, talk about the fucking ego of a bloke that's going to build a wall and then make them pay for it. Trump and the whole Mexican wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear about the new shit that Mexico is going to be paying for the security
been
there?
saying
Like
that.
$1.9 billion they're going to be... No, very recently. So they're going to be paying for extra security on the border.
I'm not surprised.
How fucked up is that? I also heard the Mexicans, Mexico is talking to the BRICS nations as well. And America's doing that to themselves. They've been a tyrant and a cunt for too long.
Trump is a perfect example of
But
that.
I like him
because-
at the same time.
Yeah, I like Trump. I don't mind him. I like him because he says everything in a way that's he just doesn't give a crap. He says what everyone's thinking. He's the one who broke that whole political correctness and
Yeah.
you know, I hated that. I can't stand that at
Yeah.
all. But he just comes in and he says it how it is. So I really, really admire that about him. But him, in relation to what we were talking about before, it's also, he does have a little bit of ego, which rightfully so.
You kind of have to be a
Rightfully,
billionaire like him,
right-
but like, yeah,
rightfully so. But again, different types of people and so many different people, all with that inflatable balloon. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
That balloon, you can't really control where it goes. Just like you can't really control the wind of spirit and
Yeah.
where it's going to end up. You might like someone,
yeah,
you know, in that present moment, but you never know what's actually being injected into the balloon, if that makes sense.
yeah,
So that's why I think that it's more profitable to dig into the spiritual stuff than it is just the base level stuff that you can see. Because if you can get a gauge of the spiritual stuff, then you can get a gauge of everything. You can get a gauge of what's empowering someone and why. And you can, the thing is, once you tap into this, you can start to see more of what empowers someone and then what the purpose of the power is. Does that make sense?
yeah. That makes sense.